What happens when we close our eyes forever? Is the end truly an end, or might it be a threshold, a doorway to something far greater? These questions, as ancient as human consciousness itself, linger in the recesses of our minds, whispered softly by the winds of our fleeting lives. As we draw closer to the inevitable transition, curiosity and uncertainty intertwine, forming a bridge between the known and the mysterious. Life, as we know it, is a journey defined by transitions: birth, growth, decay, and ultimately death. These transitions, much like the moments that punctuate a melody, serve as portals, inviting us into new realms of experience. In Tibetan Buddhism, such transitions are called bardas, liminal states that stand between worlds, brimming with potential and transformation. Within these in-between spaces lies the essence of the Bardo Thodol, often referred to in the West as the Tibetan Book of the Dead. The Bardo Thodol is more than a guide for the dying. It is a map for the soul, offering profound insights into the nature of existence, the impermanence of life, and the possibilities of liberation. It illuminates the path not only for those departing this world but also for those navigating the many transitions of life itself. Today, we embark on a journey to unravel the mysteries of Bardas, drawing wisdom from ancient texts and timeless traditions. Together, we will explore what it means to live, to die, and to embrace the infinite potential that lies within the spaces between. As we begin this voyage, let us open our minds and hearts to a deeper understanding of what it means to truly exist. Death has always been more than an end. Across cultures and epochs, it has been regarded as a doorway to the unknown, an initiation into realms beyond the tangible. In Tibetan Buddhism, this doorway is framed by the concept of bardas, states that mediate between death and rebirth, between dissolution and creation. But the idea of navigating these liminal spaces is not unique to the Himalayas. It resonates throughout human history, echoing in the myths and philosophies of diverse traditions. In ancient Egypt, death was meticulously prepared for and reverently regarded as the soul's journey through the Duat, the underworld. The Egyptian Book of the Dead, a collection of spells and incantations, was designed to guide the deceased past trials and toward the field of reeds, a paradise for the worthy. Death was not an end but a process, requiring guidance, insight, and the strength to face one's own deeds. Similarly, the Greeks pondered the immortality of the soul, with philosophers such as Plato envisioning it as eternal and indestructible. For Plato, life and death formed a cycle, a continual return of the soul from the material world to its true divine origin. His works speak of death not as a calamity but as an opportunity, a return to the forms, to the ultimate reality that underpins our fleeting world. What sets the Bardo Thodol apart from these traditions is its clarity and practicality. Unlike the hieroglyphs of ancient Egypt or the abstract dialogues of Greek philosophers, it provides a step-by-step account of what one might experience after death. It describes the dissolution of the body, the vivid and often startling manifestations of the mind, and the karmic forces that propel the soul toward rebirth or liberation. Its teachings remind us that the true journey is not external but internal, a confrontation with the mind's projections and illusions. Today, humanity's existential questions persist, fueled by a thirst for meaning in an age of uncertainty. The teachings of the Bardo Thodol bridge the ancient and the contemporary, offering not just spiritual guidance but a framework to understand transitions in life, from moments of profound loss to the inevitability of our own mortality. They invite us to see death not as an adversary but as an integral part of the continuum of existence, a chance to awaken to the deeper truths of being. Every great teaching begins with a visionary, and for the Bardo Thodol, that figure is Padmasambhava, known as the Lotus-born. He is celebrated as one of the most transformative figures in Tibetan Buddhism, a master who bridged worlds, both literal and metaphysical. His life was a journey not just across the rugged mountains of Asia but deep into the human psyche, leaving behind teachings that continue to illuminate the path to liberation. Legend has it that Padmasambhava arrived in Tibet during the 8th century, summoned by King Trisong Detsen to help establish Buddhism in a land where the indigenous Bon religion held sway. His arrival was no mere historical coincidence. It was an alchemical meeting of two traditions, each rich in symbolism and spiritual practice. Padmasambhava did not seek to destroy Bon. Instead, he embraced it, weaving its ancient wisdom into the fabric of Tibetan Buddhism. Through this synthesis, he laid the foundation for a unique spiritual tradition, one that would endure for centuries. But Padmasambhava's influence extended beyond his physical presence. He was a mystic and a seer, attuned to the profound truths of existence. It is said that he foresaw the challenges of future generations and concealed teachings, terma, to be discovered when the time was ripe. Among these teachings was the Bardo Thodol, a text attributed to his vision and insight, designed to guide the soul through the bardas with clarity and purpose. To understand the bardas, one must also understand Padmasambhava's view of the mind. He recognized it as both the source of our bondage and the key to our liberation. The peaceful and wrathful deities described in the Bardo Thodol are not external gods but manifestations of the mind itself, reflections of our fears, desires, and the karmic imprints that shape our existence. Through this lens, the text becomes not a metaphysical guidebook for the afterlife but a mirror for the soul, urging us to confront the illusions that bind us. Padmasambhava's journey was one of transformation, not just for himself but for all who encountered his teachings. By bridging the earthly and the divine, the old and the new, he gave the world a profound gift, a map for navigating the unknown, whether in death or in the myriad transitions of life. His legacy invites us to look within, to find the wisdom that has always been present but often obscured by the illusions of the world. In the Tibetan tradition, the concept of bardas is central to understanding the nature of existence. A bardo is a threshold, a space of transition that lies between two states of being. It is both a pause and a passage, a moment where possibilities converge, and transformation becomes inevitable. The Bardo Thodol identifies three primary bardas that occur after death: the Chikai Bardo, the Konyad Bardo, and the Sidpa Bardo. Each carries profound teachings, both about the afterlife and the nature of our minds in the present moment. The Chikai Bardo, or the Bardo of the moment of death, is where the physical body begins to dissolve, and the mind encounters a state of pure clarity. It is described as an opportunity for liberation, a chance to merge with the luminous nature of reality itself. In this bardo, the illusions of the material world fade, and the essence of the mind is revealed as a vast, radiant light. For those unprepared, however, this experience can be overwhelming, and the clarity may be missed, leading the soul further into the cycles of samsara. Next comes the Konyad Bardo, the Bardo of visions. Here, the mind manifests deities, some peaceful, serene, and compassionate, others wrathful, fearsome, and intense. These figures, described in vivid detail in the Bardo Thodol, are not external beings but projections of the mind's own nature. The peaceful deities reflect our inherent wisdom and compassion, while the wrathful ones mirror our fears, attachments, and unacknowledged truths. This bardo is both a confrontation and an invitation, a confrontation with our deepest selves and an invitation to recognize these manifestations as mere illusions, dissolving them into their source. Finally, there is the Sidpa Bardo, the bardo of rebirth. This is the realm of karmic momentum, where the choices and imprints of our past actions shape the conditions of our next existence. The Bardo Thodol describes this state as one of powerful impulses, where the soul is drawn toward rebirth by the magnetism of desire and attachment. It is here that the wheel of samsara spins, pulling us back into the cycle of life and death. Yet even in this bardo, there is an opportunity for liberation, a chance to choose freedom over compulsion. The teachings of the bardas extend far beyond the moments after death. In many ways, they reflect the transitions we encounter throughout life: the end of a relationship, the loss of a loved one, the closing of one chapter, and the opening of another. Each transition, like a bardo, carries the seeds of both fear and possibility, chaos and clarity. To live with an awareness of bardas is to embrace life's impermanence, seeing each moment as a gateway to transformation. The bardas teach us that the mind is the ultimate arena of liberation. They remind us that our fears and attachments are not insurmountable obstacles but reflections of a deeper truth, waiting to be understood. In facing these thresholds with courage and awareness, we can transform not just the journey of death but the very essence of how we live. The wisdom of the Bardo Thodol, though rooted in an ancient tradition, speaks directly to the complexities of modern life. At its core, it is a guide for navigating transitions, not just those that follow death, but those that arise in the living world. In a time defined by uncertainty, rapid change, and existential crises, its teachings offer a map for finding clarity amidst chaos. One of the most striking insights of the Bardo Thodol is its emphasis on preparation. The text does not merely seek to inform the dying, it encourages the living to cultivate awareness, presence, and mindfulness as a way of preparing for the inevitable transitions of existence. In this light, meditation becomes a rehearsal for the Bardas, a practice that teaches us to confront the mind's projections with calm and clarity. By observing the mind in stillness, we learn to recognize the illusions that arise, both in life and in the Bardas after death. This practice is particularly resonant in a world grappling with grief, anxiety, and the fear of the unknown. The loss of a loved one, a sudden life change, or even the passing of time itself can feel like stepping into a bardo, a disorienting space where the familiar dissolves, leaving us adrift. The Bardo Thodol reminds us that these moments, as unsettling as they may be, are also opportunities for transformation. Just as the peaceful and wrathful deities in the Bardas are reflections of the mind, so too are the challenges we face in life reflections of our inner state. By engaging with them consciously, we can uncover new paths forward. Moreover, the text encourages us to live with the awareness that each moment is precious. The fear of death often stems from the fear of the unknown, but the Bardo Thodol offers a perspective that softens this fear. Death, like life, is part of an eternal continuum. By embracing this truth, we can approach life's transitions with greater acceptance and even gratitude. In this way, the Bardo Thodol becomes more than a guide for the dying, it becomes a guide for the living. It teaches us to face not just the end of life but the smaller endings and beginnings that define our journey. By cultivating a conscious relationship with these transitions, we can move through them with greater ease, transforming fear into understanding and resistance into liberation. The Bardo Thodol is often seen as a deeply spiritual text, but its teachings also resonate with modern psychology and science, offering profound insights into the nature of consciousness. By exploring the Bardas through these lenses, we can bridge the ancient and the contemporary, finding universal truths that transcend cultural and temporal boundaries. Carl Jung, one of the pioneers of analytical psychology, offers a compelling framework for understanding the Bardas. Jung's concept of archetypes, universal symbols and patterns that shape the human psyche, aligns closely with the imagery of the Bardo Thodol. The peaceful and wrathful deities described in the text can be seen as archetypes, representations of our collective unconscious. Jung believed that by confronting these archetypes in dreams, myths, or inner visions, we could achieve greater self-awareness. Similarly, the Bardas challenge us to face the projections of our own minds, guiding us toward liberation by revealing the truths hidden within. Near-death experiences, and these, also offer a fascinating parallel to the Bardas. Many individuals who have returned from the brink of death describe encounters with radiant light, profound clarity, and a sense of detachment from the physical body, experiences that closely mirror the Chikai Bardo. Others recount vivid and symbolic visions that echo the descriptions of the Coniad Bardo, where the mind's projections manifest in startling ways. These accounts suggest that the Bardas may not merely be metaphors but actual states of consciousness that can be experienced under certain conditions. Advancements in neuroscience further enrich our understanding of these states. Studies of the brain during near-death experiences, meditation, and altered states of consciousness reveal patterns that align with the teachings of the Bardo Thodol. For example, the dissolution of the ego, the sense of self as separate from the world, is a phenomenon observed in both deep meditation and near-death states. This dissolution corresponds to the experience of pure clarity in the Chikai Bardo, where the mind encounters its luminous essence. Moreover, neuroscience has begun to explore how the brain processes fear and attachment, two central themes in the Bardas. The amygdala, a key region of the brain associated with fear, is activated in moments of perceived threat, much like the confrontations with wrathful deities described in the Coniad Bardo. Understanding these mechanisms can help us approach the Bardas, both literal and metaphorical, with greater awareness, using techniques like mindfulness to navigate them skillfully. By integrating the wisdom of the Bardo Thodol with the insights of psychology and science, we can deepen our understanding of the human experience. These perspectives remind us that the Bardas are not just about death, they are about the mind, the self, and the eternal dance of fear and clarity, illusion and truth. They challenge us to explore the mysteries of existence with curiosity and courage, bridging the ancient teachings of Padmasambhava with the cutting-edge discoveries of today. As the journey through the Bardas comes to an end, we are reminded that the teachings of the Bardo Thodol are more than a map for the afterlife. They are an invitation to live with greater clarity, courage, and compassion. They remind us that life and death are not opposites but interwoven threads in the tapestry of existence, each enriching the other in profound and mysterious ways. The Bardas teach us that the transitions we fear are not barriers but gateways. Whether we face the dissolution of the body, the turbulence of the mind's projections, or the karmic impulses that propel us forward, each moment offers an opportunity to awaken. In these teachings lies a call to prepare, not through avoidance or denial but through the cultivation of presence, mindfulness, and a heart open to the unknown. In a world where change is the only constant, the lessons of the Bardo Thodol resonate deeply. They remind us that liberation is not a distant goal but a possibility in every moment, waiting to be embraced. By applying these teachings to our lives, we can navigate not only the final transition of death but also the countless smaller transitions that shape our existence. And so, we are left with a question, one that echoes through time and space, inviting us to reflect on our own journey. How are you preparing for your next step across the threshold? If you've made it this far, thank you for joining us on this journey. If you enjoyed this content and want to explore more about spirituality, self-discovery, and philosophy, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us reach more people and create even more content like this. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next videos. Let's continue this journey of discovery together.